Fox News host Pete Hegseth, his attorney confirming Hegseth paid a woman who accused him of sexual assault in 2017 as part of a settlement agreement, though claiming the encounter was consensual. Trump was made aware of the incident shortly after he named Hegseth to the position and is standing by him, his team saying that Hegseth has vigorously denied any and all accusations and no charges were filed. We look forward to his confirmation. Hegseth is also under fire for some of his tattoos depicting religious symbols and phrases that fellow service members flagged to his superiors over concerns they're associated with white supremacists. Hegseth saying those concerns amount to anti-Christian bigotry, posting, "They can target me, I don't give a damn, but this type of targeting of Christians, conservatives, patriots, and everyday Americans will stop on day one at Donald Trump's Department of Defense." Hegseth's post notably not disavowing the supremacists who have adopted the symbolism, though he has in the past. And this morning, a growing number of Republican senators are demanding to see the House Ethics Committee report into Trump's choice for Attorney General, former Congressman Matt Gaetz.
I believe the Senate should have access to that. Now, should it be released to the public or not? That's I guess that will be part of the negotiations, but that should be definitely part of our decision making.
While the Justice Department declined to pursue any charges, the bipartisan committee had been investigating Gaetz for allegations of sexual misconduct and illicit drug use. Sources tell ABC News a woman testified he had sex with her when she was only 17, something Gaetz has denied, as well as the drug claims. In a statement, Gaetz saying these allegations are invented and would constitute false testimony to Congress. This false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. But the investigation ended when Gaetz abruptly resigned from Congress last week, hours after Trump tapped him to be his attorney general. At the time, House Speaker Mike Johnson was non-committal on whether the committee's report should be released. But now,
it should not come out. And why? Because Matt Gaetz resigned from Congress. He is no longer a member.
But in the past, the committee has released ethics reports after members have resigned. Trump is making it clear he plans to overhaul government agencies, tasking billionaire confidant Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to lead a newly created Department of Government Efficiency.
We expect certain agencies to be deleted outright. We expect mass reductions in force in areas of the federal government that are bloated. We expect massive cuts among federal contractors and others who are overbilling the federal government.
Ramaswamy and Musk there by Trump's side at the fight this weekend. So too was his pick for Energy Secretary, Chris Wright, one of the nation's top fracking CEOs. Wright has fiercely criticized the existence of a climate crisis.
There is no climate crisis, and we're not in the midst of an energy transition either.
Wright, who has no government experience, has argued the impacts of climate change are overblown. But scientists agree humans are causing global warming and climate change. This year is shaping up to be the hottest on record, and leading health experts continue to sound the alarm about Trump's choice to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. A prominent vaccine skeptic, Kennedy is deeply suspicious of mainstream medicine and has vowed to reshape the U.S. health system.
I am outraged because lives are at stake here. To have someone leading HHS, who is one of the biggest deniers of vaccines in our country, would undermine the confidence in that program and likely would cost lives.
Even the conservative editorial board of the Rupert Murdoch-owned New York Post writing the overriding rule of medicine is first, do no harm. We're certain installing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to head Health and Human Services breaks this rule. Kennedy, who has railed against processed foods and criticized Trump's diet, seen this weekend posing with the president-elect over a meal of McDonald's. And overnight, Trump again reiterating his pledge to declare a national emergency and use the military to follow through with his plans for mass deportations, though he has yet to detail how exactly he would do that. And the big question with all of these nominees remains, can Trump get enough support to have them confirmed in the Senate, or will he push the Senate to waive their oversight and vetting responsibilities so that he can get them confirmed via those recess appointments? George?
Yes, this is a real test of the Republican-led Senate. Okay, Mary, thanks very much. Robin?
And George, overseas now we go to the latest on the war in Ukraine and President Biden's decision to allow Ukraine to strike Russia with long-range U.S. missiles. Our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell, is on the scene for us there in Ukraine. Good morning to you, Ian.
Yeah, good morning, Robin. I think this is an important decision. I mean, Ukraine believes it can stop repeated attacks on its cities if it can fire deeper into Russia. But skeptics are worrying that this is a red line being crossed and what Moscow's response is going to be.
This morning, President Biden authorizing Ukraine to use long-range missiles against Russia for the very first time.
It will allow them to hit deep behind Russian lines, to hit supply caches, to hit troop buildup areas.
The weapons have a range of nearly 200 miles. The missiles Ukraine currently has travel only around 70 miles.
We want to make sure that Ukraine is in the best position to protect its interests.
U.S. officials saying a major factor in the shift in policy, the arrival of 10,000 North Korean troops in Russia, many expected to fight alongside the Russians to regain land in the Kursk region. President Zelensky saying the missiles will speak for themselves, without a doubt. This as Russia launched one of its largest attacks against Ukraine this year, unleashing more than 200 drones and missiles across the country Sunday. Videos circulating online showing the exact moment missiles landed in Rivne. The Russian assault targeting energy infrastructure, causing blackouts in several regions and killing at least 7 civilians. And overnight, a devastating Russian missile attack striking an apartment building in Sumy, killing 11 and injuring nearly 90 children among the dead and wounded. Russia deliberately targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure as the winter months set in. In Odessa, where water supplies have been shut off, long lines forming in the bitter cold for emergency supplies, carrying home what they can on foot.
Well, the Kremlin responding just now, saying the US is adding fuel to the fire and escalating tensions. Putin already warning that this would mean the US and others would be directly involved in the war. But it seems likely that these missiles may only be used in the border region just for now. Rebecca?
All right, a monumental decision either way. Ian, thank you. We turn now to the investigation into the latest passenger plane hit by gunfire. This time in Dallas, just as Southwest was getting ready, a flight from Southwest was getting ready to take off. Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez joins us with more. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Rebecca, good morning. Yeah, it's a real mystery because we still don't know where that bullet came from. So this morning, the search is on for a shooter.
They think that somebody from outside the airport shot a firearm at the aircraft.
This morning, authorities investigating after a Southwest plane in Dallas was struck by gunfire while preparing for takeoff. All of it unfolding just before 10 p.m. as the crew was taxiing for takeoff. A bullet apparently striking the right side of the aircraft just under the flight deck.
Southwest didn't tell us that, a bullet had hit the plane. They just told us that the plane had sustained damage and that plane couldn't be flown.
Thankfully, no injuries were reported, and all passengers got off the plane safely. But no word this morning on who fired that bullet. And that plane has been taken out of service. Meanwhile, Southwest gave those passengers a voucher for a future flight. George?
Okay, Gio, thanks. We're going to turn now to a demonstration by neo-Nazis over the weekend in Columbus, Ohio. The armed group marched carrying flags with swastikas on them. Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas has the story. Good morning, Pierre.
George, good morning. The hate was right out in the open. So brazen, Ohio's governor felt compelled to respond.
This morning, new surveillance footage of an armed group of men carrying flags emblazoned with swastikas, marching through the streets of Columbus, Ohio. The troubling incident happening Saturday afternoon. Each person dressed head to toe in all black, masks concealing their faces. They shouted vile and racist speech against Jews and people of color. Ohio's governor denouncing the neo-Nazis, writing, "There is no place in this state for hate, bigotry, anti-Semitism, or violence." Hate crimes have been on the rise for the past several years, according to data from the FBI. The Anti-Defamation League also notes a stunning increase in acts of anti-Semitism, with incidents doubling last year compared to 2022. Overnight, African-American community leaders in Columbus taking to the same streets in a peaceful counter-protest.
Today, it sends a clear message that this cannot happen in our city, in this state, nor in this nation. We're not going to be repelled. We're not going to be moved back.
Just a week ago in Michigan, another group carrying Nazi flags outside a theater production of The Diary of Anne Frank.
We asked both President Biden and President-elect Trump about the Ohio incident. Biden responded denouncing the incident. We're waiting a response from Trump. Because there was no violence in Columbus and apparently no direct threat of violence, no arrests were made. The First Amendment allowed for all kinds of free speech, including speech dripping with hate. Robin?
All right, Pierre, our thanks to you for your reporting. Now, the latest on Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors are accusing Combs of trying to contact prospective witnesses and obstruct